Hello Brandy fans, welcome back to the channel. After the success of the previous video where I took on the world's biggest selling cognacs in their XO cognacs, today's video I'm doing exactly the same, but I'm taking on the VSOP cognacs. Probably to most people the more accessible treat cognacs, if you like. Now, if you haven't watched the previous video and you're wondering who are the world's biggest selling cognac brands, well, it's the four big guns. You can see this here. We've got Remy Martin. I've actually got a bottle of VSOP, as you can see, but the rest are all samples. So I've got Courvoisier is the second one. We've then got Hennessy VSOP, and then we've got Martell VSOP. Now, if you're also new to Brandy and wondering what the differences are between VSOP and XO, well, I'm not going to go into great big detail, but just to give you a ballpark figure, VS cognacs are roughly about 2 or a minimum of 2 years old. VSOP, you would be looking at 4 years old. In XO, you would be looking at 10 years old. Now, yes, there are plenty of other VSOPs out there on the market. Another big brand is Hein, for example. You've then got Frappin. And to be fair, you've even got the Pierre Ferrands. But these, as I've wanted to do in the previous video, it's these 4 brands that are just globally available. And just quickly before you forget, if you're wondering what these little bottles are, kind of here, it was really hard to get in the UK samples of Martell and samples of Hennessy. So what I've actually done is I've found a couple of cognac bars and brandy bars down in London, and I've been down a couple of times and just picked up a couple of little samples there to bring back. But I have got a bottle of that. But I can quite easily get like the samples of Courvoisier from the Whiskey Exchange here in the UK. Now, to touch on that previous XO video for a second here, price was very much a factor with that. I think from memory we had like £60 UK pounds separating the cheapest one, which was Courvoisier, and the more expensive one, which I've forgotten, which Hennessy, I've completely forgotten now, but was about 180, nearly £190. So £60 separated them. However, in this video, this is a very different proposition here in the UK, because all 4 of these brands, if you bought these at 70 CL level, all 4 of these are separated by less than £10. The cheapest one here is just over £45, and the more expensive one here is just under £55. Now, I dare say you could shop around to get different kind of prices. This is just me and the master of malt prices here in the UK. So when we're looking at XOs, you could be influenced in price. I mean, I really did prefer the Courvoisier VSOP, which was actually the cheapest one. And you might think, if you really want an XO, you might want to save yourself like sort of £60 and just buy the cheapest XO. However, this is purely going to come down to personal opinion and taste. If it's only £10 separating these, it really doesn't matter which one you buy. Because let's face it, in the grand scheme of things, if you're willing to spend £45 on a bottle of brandy or cognac, the chances are you might be able to push the boat out to £50 or £55. Now, just a quick bit of housekeeping before I dive in. These are all sampled up. They've all been jumbled up here, and I've done them in, I have done them in price order. So I've got number 1 will be the Remy Martin. Number 2 will be for Courvoisier XO. Number 3 will be the Martell VSOP, and number 4 will be the Hennessy VSOP. So just picking the first one up at random. This smells absolutely right on my wavelength. Lots of real stone fruit, apricot-y, peachy kind of vibes. Really, this is me all over this one. This smells beautiful. The more I sit with it, there's going to be a little contradiction here, because I get a little bit of like floralness coming through, a little bit of sort of like you're walking through, especially this time of year as I'm filming, like the grass is starting to be cut and you've got all those sort of fresh cut grass. You've got all that sort of floral aromas. The flowers are coming out. You've got that kind of aroma. But I'm also weirdly, I don't know if this is a thing, I'm also picking up toast. just toast that's come out of a toaster. It's just got this sort of bready, warm bready kind of vibe going on. I think on the aroma, you are definitely not going to mistake this for being a brandy. I'm going to say brandy, not a cognac. It's definitely that grapey kind of aroma. But it's just, for me, what's really drawing me in is that stone fruit, that peachy, apricot-y. I've just had a few nectarines this week. That kind of vibe. That's what it smells like. Right, let's have a little taste. Now, that's quite interesting. That is quite peppery, actually. Quite like a spice tingle, like from wood aging. It's kind of got this freshness to it, but it's really kind of tingling across the top of the tongue there, like a cinnamon. Now it's kind of going. It's sort of like a cinnamony kind of spice that's just laying over there. Really, that is the first thing that comes out. You do get this little soft hint of stone fruit, but it is nowhere near pronounced as what it is on the aroma. I'm just running this one just over the top of my tongue. Palate's sort of acclimatized. This is actually the first one of the day. First bit of alcohol of the day. Actually, do you know what I'm kind of getting at them? Now, this is not even remotely close to being like as fruit forward as Calvados or anything like that. But where I'm going with this, I actually get a note of pear. Just this real soft kind of pear. Look, you're not mistaking this for like a cognac or brandy, I should say. It is definitely a brandy. It's not apple forward, it's not pear forward or anything like this. But there is just this faint layer of sort of pear that's going on there. I think the big sort of two flavours that I'm coming off that is this sort of peppery, tingly spice, cinnamony spice, baking spices, maybe, that kind of thing. And this pear kind of thing. There's other little things going on there, but they are the most pronounced for me. One final little taste. I'll be honest, and this is going to be harsh because this is the first one. This is probably something I wouldn't enjoy drinking neat. This has got absolutely nothing in comparison to the previous video where I did the XOs. This one's a little bit harder working because with rum, I'm a big fan of younger aged, but I'm completely the opposite with cognac, but not to a point where it is heavily oak influenced. This is just got this cinnamony, baking spicy, peppery kind of thing that's really going over my tongue, and that's what's putting me off that at the moment. It's really more pronounced than what the fruit is. I'm not expecting that to be my favourite VSOP, not by a long way. Right, let's just pick up the second one at random here. Let's have a little smell of this one. This is as fruit forward as the previous one. Slightly, I would go slightly more nod to barrel aging on there, but definitely kind of stone fruit that's coming off. And if I'm being honest, I think the only other thing I really get off this is like vanilla. There's not much. This is quite one-dimensional in that sense. There's not different layers that's kind of taking me off anywhere. This is the previous one excites me a lot more on the aroma. This is just stone fruity, peachy, apricot-y, but not as even fresh and as zingy as what that is. Just a little bit of vanilla from barrel aging. Right, now on the taste, drinking wise, I am preferring this one to that. I dare say there's a little bit of something being added to that because I am not getting a spice burn at all from that. I'm picking up this oakiness from the barrel aging. With that definitely comes this vanilla note. There is this, and this is what I'm kind of thinking, oh, has something been added? Has something not been added? And I'm not against that at all. But you can tell instantly, you know, if this has been 4 years in a barrel, where is that peppery wood burn? Not burn, that's the wrong word, but that spice that tingles across your tongue. And that's just not there. That's been masked, if you like. I kind of get this vanilla there. There is this element of fruit. And actually, I dare say, it's going to be really, really random. I'm getting a faint whiff of, or nod to, like a cigar or something like that. I do, again, this is tough. I definitely prefer it to the first one because the first one, if you do follow me on my rum journey, you will know that I'm not really for that wood, that peppery, that oakiness that really coats your tongue. And I do get that from that one. This one that hasn't got that, but again, I don't think I'm going to be drinking that neat. That just doesn't excite me enough. So yes, it is better at the moment. That's, having not tasted those two, that's my fourth place at the moment, and that's my third place. I'm expecting, I don't know, I'm expecting a lot better. Right, let's move on to the third one here. Oh, the nose on, wow, the nose on this. There's lots. Wow, that's really drawing me in. So this is like the first one, which was now that one, that's my last place one, on steroids. This is real. It's like someone squeezed the fruit, and the fruit is like really like stone fruit, like plummies, definitely plums, apricots, nectarines, stone fruity kind of vibes. It's like it's been juiced. It's really fruit forward. I do get the nod to grapes. I do get the nod to a little bit of barrel aging, but it's faint. It's, again, it's, do you know what? That's actually quite interesting, because there is this grapiness to it, but all that fruit that's coming off there, you would be forgiven to think that's more of a fruity liqueur, like a peachy nectarine liqueur. I'll be honest, right? Let's go down this. My nectarine liqueur. All right, it's sweeter, of course it is, and it's not as alcoholic. But it ain't, the nectarine liqueur, it ain't a million miles away from that. So another 30 seconds or so with it. Again, I can't really pick anything else off it, but fruit, I love that sort of fruit vibe. Grapes, nod to wood. One-dimensional in that sense, but it's still a lot more drawing me in than what the third one was. But on the aroma, level with that, but that taste didn't come through. Right, let's have a little go at this. That is beautiful. Level above those two. 5 levels above those two. Wow, that's really delicious. The stone fruit does come off in the palate. You do get grape. Right, now this is the interesting thing. You do get plenty of that barrel aging, that kind of like a touch of vanilla in us, but a little bit of oak. But what you don't get any of that sort of peppery spice. There's a little bit of spice there. Don't get me wrong, there is, like from the aging in the wood. But it's not a tingle, it's not a cinnamon, it's not a dry spice or anything like that. It is a lovely, that really does enhance that cognac. That's beautiful. Easily my favourite so far. I would say the fruit is way more pronounced. The wood is really fun, like the aging is really well balanced. And the spicing that you're left with, I will sort of go actually a cinnamony kind of spice. But do I get the impression that it's been dosed? No. I'm pretty sure the first one had, because you've got more grippiness to it than the second one that I had, that I put in third place. There is more grippiness to it, but it doesn't put you off. That is a clear, so I'm going to put that there for a second. That is a clear number one for me at the moment over those. Like, to be fair, that's probably the gulf between them. Right, let's dive in for the last one. Loving the aroma on this one as well. The aroma on this one is all shades of magical. This is definitely not, this is the most going on out of all 4. So grapes first, fresh zingy grapes. Stone fruit is there, peachy, apricot-y. I'm going nectarines because it is nectarine season. Nectarines are just the soft-skinned, smooth-skinned peach, if you like, but I prefer nectarines to peaches. There is definitely a vanilla aroma going on with this. Not a sweet vanilla aroma, but I kind of get this vanilla-iness. Again, I think it was the first one I put down in 4th place there. Again, on the aroma, there's this pear nod as well. Not apples, but kind of pear. That's really come through. And do you know what? The other thing I'm kind of getting off this, I'm really fascinated. I want to sit down and like chat to a brandy distiller about this properly. I'm fascinated by these, like red fruit, berries. I do not understand. Like, I completely understand from a brandy where you get apples, where you get pear notes, and you obviously get vanilla in that from barrels. But I never understand with grapes how you get that strawberry cherry kind of vibe. It's not as pronounced as like the stone fruit, the peach, the apricot, but there is definitely a berry note to this. Wow. Now that is delicious. I'm not going to say whether it's my favourite yet or not. I need to work this through. This, I think I can formulate in my head. This one's a little bit more harder work. I mean, it's definitely better than those two. 100% better than those two. It's a little bit harder work. There's a little bit more to it. And I think I know how I'm going to sum this up. So, for instance, there is fruit there, but it's not as fruit forward as what I put up there. There's actually a honey vibe to this. Definitely vanilla from the aging. There's definitely kind of honey. There's also a little bit of mixed fruit, like raisiny, sultana-y kind of vibe that I get from a lot of aged rums, but don't necessarily get from brandies and cognacs. And I just had to have another little sip then, because just as I was talking, there was this, my head went to banana for some reason. Nowhere near, absolutely, I know I've got quite a few rum fans following me on this journey as well from my other channels. Nowhere near what I'd expect a Jamaican rum to be with banana, like nothing even remotely close to that. You get banana foam sweets, you get fresh banana, you get banana peel. This is just like a faintish banana on there. But for me, I'm just going to go into this. Look, there's two ways to classify this. For me personally, that is my clear and out of favourite, because it is more ziggy and more fresh fruit forward. This is still a damn sight better than those two, so that's a clear second for me. But because it isn't like really ripe and juicy fruit in there, it has to sit second. It's got that more honey vibe. It's a lot more, I would say that's the easygoing forgiving you're just going to have all day, and this is the treat one for me. For me, those two, I would not buy bottles. I'm hoping it's not one of those. Hoping it's not that one. But I mean, if it is, I wouldn't restock. I would not restock that on a blind tasting there, because these two are just infinitely better than that. That's my favourite, definitely. Number one, I'm going to put there. Number two, I'm going to put there. Number three, and then my last place there. Right, a bit of water. Let's go through these. Last place is number 2, Courvoisier. Wow, Courvoisier VSOP is what a turnaround. The XO. So if you haven't watched that previous video, spoiler alert, could just tune out now if you don't want to hear this. But you probably guessed, but the Courvoisier XO absolutely romped it for me. I really, really loved that. That for me, and this is no shock to me, the XO was a massive shock to me, because I know my feelings about the Courvoisier VSOP. I've never, ever bought a bottle of the Courvoisier VSOP because it's never sat well with me over the years. The VS, all right for cocktails, but I always kind of ignore that. So that's not a shock to me. What is the shock is that the XO romped it, and that's come in bottom place. Right, in third place is number 4, Hennessy. Okay. So Courvoisier last, Hennessy VSOP in third. Nothing really to say about that, to be fair. Number 1 in second place, Remy Martin. And then what am I left? Martell. Number 3, Martell. Wow. I've forgotten how Martell ranked in my previous XO video. I should have watched that before I filmed this. Wow. Absolutely zero hesitations in buying the Martell VSOP there. Absolute zero. And I've already got a bottle of that. It's about there, so there's plenty more for me. But if I am, if I only had samples for that, the bottle that I'm undoubtedly going to buy is the Martell VSOP. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is just stunning. Do you know what? I'm actually going to put this out there now. Controversial statement. I'm actually really enjoying that enough to make me think I probably wouldn't want a bottle of the XO, which is, well, even the cheap Courvoisier one is 70, 80 pounds more than that. That's actually really, really good. I'm quite happy sipping that neat. Now, just before I sign off, a couple of questions for you. If you've done a blind tasting of this, or if you're adamant you know which one is your favourite, which one of these 4 would you pick as your favourite? And there's another additional question here. Are there any other VSOPs or brands like Pierre Ferrand that don't necessarily classify them as VS, VSOP and XO? Are there brands around this 45 to 55 UK pounds, so 55 to 65, $70? Are there brands around there that you much prefer over these 4? If so, let me know, okay? That's the second part to that, but the first part was which one of these four do you prefer? The third question that I've got, again, I said this in a previous video, is what other videos would you like me to make educational wise? As I previously said, I know the cocktail videos don't hit with you at all at this precise moment. I haven't got the audience for cocktails, so it's all this. I'm still trying to get hold of Torres. I've got 3 of the samples that I need for Torres, the Spanish brandy. I'm just waiting to see if I can get the 4th one that links it. And then there is actually a couple of others. So I'm just holding off that for a Spanish brandy. There's a few other things. I'm coming back to UK brandy. We have got Calvados to go down as well, like comparing different Calvadoses. I've already done Bernard Roy up there, Bernard Roy. But we've got a few sort of UK English apple brandies, cider brandies coming. So we're revisiting that. What other brandy videos would you like me to make? Let me know in the comments below.